What is going on, everyone? We are here with another spotlight interview series. Kind of weird because I normally do them during the day, but doing a little nighttime interview here, spicing things up a little bit. And early November now, I can't even believe that. But we are here with another episode, as you guys know, featured artist every week. And this week we have Brayden King. Brayden, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing really well. Really happy to be here. How are you doing?
And not too bad. Been working a lot. Work's getting busy, but I'm always excited to do these interviews and meet new people because some of the artists that I interview, people know that I have the connection with and I've known for a while, but I'm getting them out there. But then there's some people that, I've been a fan of yours and I followed you for a while, but I don't really know your kind of story in music. And like, I don't really, we haven't talked in a while. So it's just kind of cool to meet new people in the music business and just kind of do all this stuff. So I'm excited to have you on and I just appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I couldn't agree more. There's nothing better than talking music with people that are interested in the business. It's a lot of fun to get insights and hear everybody's story.
No, exactly. And I mean, it's just everyone has a story. So it's just cool to kind of hear people's different versions of their stories and just what they've been through in the music business and just stuff like that. Kind of before I get into the first question here is, Joe, why don't you just tell the people a little bit about who you are as a person? And just so we can kind of get a feel for who you are.
For sure. So as you said, my name is Brayden King. I'm 21 years old. I'm currently living in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. But I was born and raised in the prairies of Saskatchewan, Canada, Weyburn, Saskatchewan. 12,000 population, strong, great community. Really proud of where I come from and really proud of where I am right now. And I lived in Belgium for a year after I graduated high school. So those are kind of my three home bases in my short 21 years of life. And yeah, all of that those experiences living have brought me to where I am now.
No, that's awesome, man. I think what? So I've had Kate Reed and I've had Broadtree from Canada. So I think you're my third artist from up in Canada, which is cool. I'm always supporting those Canadian artists and supporting. I've done Ireland, I've done Australia. Like I've been all over the map.
That's so cool. Yeah, there's so many different scenes that people don't know about if they don't uh branch out and find out about them. And I'm
Exactly.
I'm
And it
always trying to do the same thing, like finding new artists from different places.
No, exactly. And it's just cool because like I'm a big fan of country and a lot of people know that that's what I grew up on was that 90s early 2000s country. And it's just cool because I've done interviews with country artists that live around here and live in the Nashville scene, but then I've interviewed two kind of country artists and bands and stuff from Ireland and Australia. So it's just cool to kind of see like the different, because the country scenes out there are just completely different than what we consider the country scene around here. So it's always cool to see those different stories and how their scenes are so different from us.
Oh yeah, totally. Have you heard of Coulter Wall from
Yeah,
Saskatchewan? Yeah,
yes, I have.
man, he's really making a big boom right now for the last uh 5 or 6 years, I guess.
Mhm.
And man, what a huge inspiration for me. It's seeing a country guy coming from my dad's hometown of Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
That's
And
that's awesome.
just seeing someone killing it from Saskatchewan is just so cool.
No, it's crazy. It really is. And just music is just such a cool thing. I've always been into music. People know I just recently only started the whole songwriting and interview series and really like the producing side of things. I only just started all that a few years ago. But then some people have been doing music their whole life. Some people have been singing their whole life, and some people have been playing guitar their whole life and just creating that craft and making it better and better as the years go on. So kind of jumping into the questions is my first question for you is where did music all start for you? Like how did all that come? Like was singing like an early age thing? Was playing the guitar? Like just how did everything come around for you?
Man, if you talk to my mom, she'd probably say I was singing before I could talk. Like I watch home videos that they have, and I'm so glad that they have them of me just singing all the time. I had this karaoke machine that I beat to death, and I think Elton John's Crocodile Rock was just I was screaming that song all the time. And I think what really got me going, my sister, we were watching TV one day and she put on this show called The Wiggles. I don't know if
Mhm.
you're familiar with
Yep.
The Wiggles. Yeah, so I was probably one of the biggest Wiggles fans in the entire world. I just fell in love, and that was like my kickstart to music. And liked them for a bit longer than I probably should have, but that's okay. I still love their. I still I'm so thankful for the Wiggles for my music. And then got into other stuff, and I started playing guitar around. I think I played piano first at about 6 or 7.
Mhm.
Started guitar about 9 years old. Uh, really got into Nickelback and some other Canadian bands like Mariana's Trench and Headley. And honestly, I never really liked country music. I don't know what it was. It was not something like it was around. I'd always hear it, but I was blocking myself off. I was like, yeah, you don't like country music. It's not your thing or whatever. And then mature a bit and got into classic rock and just probably uh, well, then around right that time, 14, 15, I started my first band.
Mhm.
And we did pretty well. I played all through grade 9 till the end of high school and beyond with that group.
Oh, okay.
And we got to play upwards of 100 gigs in those couple of years. So that was really, really fun. Got my foot in the door performing. And then come COVID pandemic time, obviously couldn't get together with the band. So I found myself sitting in my bedroom writing songs,
Mhm.
and then just kind of developed into liking what I was doing more, and just on my own. Uh, so then that kind of grew into my solo career, and yeah, I think I fell in love with country music as soon as I realized that's all my friends wanted to listen to.
Mhm.
I was like, well, if I want my friends on my side, I might as well learn some country tunes. So you start with the basics of the Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen and all that, all the hits, you know. But
Exactly.
then I dove really deep into Brooks and Dunn and Alan Jackson, and then some of the outlaw guys like Colter Wall and
Mhm.
Johnny Cash dove into, and just couldn't stop. And now I'd say country is probably one of my favorite genres. It's just crazy how that changes.
No, that's awesome, man. And it's just cool. Like I just always find it so cool to hear everyone's story through music on how they all came up and just like what like their influences were and stuff like that. It's super, super cool. And you already I mean, you get a lot of feedback from this, but I do understand the hate, but I don't understand the hate with Nickelback. They definitely one of my bands. That I've always loved. Like they have a lot of great songs, and like they were definitely a big influence in the music scene for me when they were really cranking out a lot of cool songs.
Yeah, and the thing, like, they're still cranking out cool
It-
songs. And my thing is, I don't think anybody hates Nickelback. I think that it's a bandwagon and people just think it's cool to hate Nickelback. So they say they hate Nickelback, but
yeah,
if Rockstar came on the radio, they are screaming that thing.
e-
Like, you know?
exactly. Like there's no way around it. Like I never understood the hate around them. They're definitely like they're a top 10 for me for sure. Like because they have so many cool songs, like even from their past. But like you said, they're still cranking out some really cool songs. Like just a few years ago, probably one of my all-time favorite songs is Song on Fire. They just released that was a few years ago, I believe. I think it was 2018, but don't
Yeah.
quote me on that. I'm horrible at my dates. But just some of their stuff is so cool. And then obviously, like you said, just kind of like Luke Gomes, Morgan Wallen, definitely big people. But that kind of leads me into my second question is you kind of like touched up on a little bit of like who you listen to and stuff like that. But like just even family wise or even in the music industry, like who are some of your inspirations that like really inspired you and to kind of like push you into the music and just like who do you look up to when you kind of create music and stuff like that?
Oh, for sure. So yeah, in terms of musical artistry, I already list quite a few. I'd say Tyler Childers and Zach Bryan are up there for me quite a bit now, and Chris Stapleton. You can't have a talk about country music and amazing songwriting without bringing Stapleton into the mix. Just
Exactly.
amazing, and what a voice.
Mhm.
But in terms of personal musical inspiration. I would say I had a music teacher in high school and in elementary school, the same teacher. Mrs. Weimer, and she always allowed me to do things musically and gave me an outlet to do so many things musically. Like we had choirs and sang so many fun songs, and she just made it fun.
Yeah.
And she always pushed kids that wanted to do music to do music. So that was huge for me. There's a lot of local bands around here that I look up to and like hanging out with a lot. There's a band from Edmonton called Whale and the Wolf.
Mhm.
They're pretty cool. And there's a band from Regina called Dead Levy who kind of took me under their wing. You'd like talking to them. They're pretty cool guys. They kind of took me under their wing over the summer and brought me along to a bunch of festivals, and I got to go tour, and they're obviously more established than I am, and got to have some great experiences there. And I have a good friend named Scout that I met when I was living in Belgium, and he taught me all about music theory and kind of opened my ears to a whole bunch of different genres. I started listening to jazz because of him, and I started listening to more R&B and funk and stuff because of him.
Yeah.
And he taught me a lot about broadening my horizons, and there's probably so many more, but that's what's coming off the top of my head right now.
No, that's awesome, man. And I mean, like I said, it's so cool to hear everyone's inspirations. Cause I mean, like even like I have my inspirations that I look up to, like songwriting, like cause when I write songs and stuff like that, a lot of people know as I lean toward that storytelling aspect. Like I want to tell a story, and that's why I lean more towards the 90s, early 2000s country, is because that storytelling was just so more powerful back then than it is now. And I mean, for years, like the last few years, they were getting away from it a little bit in the country scene because a lot of people were trying new things in country. They were going country pop, like country rock, and just stuff like that. But now it is starting to slowly come back with some of these artists like Cole Wetzel, Tyler Childers, if I can even speak today, and just like some of them. But like Garth Brooks, I just always got to shout him out. I know he'll never see this, but he's always been one of my big time. He's always inspired me. Just his artistry is just so cool. Like he's more of a performer than he is anything else, and that's what I look up to a lot. Is just, and his songwriting too is just amazing. But it's always cool to hear who people have for inspirations and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I totally forgot to say Cole Wetzel, but so good, love it. And then yeah, just to touch on Garth, like I don't know if you've seen his 3-hour documentary.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it just kind of tells this whole story and shows him on tour and all the things that he did. And man, what a performer, what an artist, just amazing. Not as easy to listen to though, unless you have the CDs and stuff like that, or have him on a different platform, because he's not on the streaming services.
No, right. I had to I mean, I feel like I'm an old timer at this point, even though I'm only 24. Is like I had to take the CDs, put them on the computer, and then like transfer them over to my phone and stuff, like on my iPhone. Like so I have all
Right.
like the originals lined up on my phone. So if I ever need to listen to them, but that's what it is, because he doesn't use Spotify, Apple Music. He doesn't do any of that stuff. And if you want to listen to that, you either have to do stuff like I was doing. You have to go through 86 different sites and CDs and all kinds of crap to do that. But it's so cool too. Just to have that stuff, because I'll reminisce and I'll listen to that stuff all the time. And like obviously I still have the CDs and stuff. And for people that don't know, I was actually supposed to see Garth Brooks back. It was literally when was it? It was October 17th. I was supposed to see him at Gillette Stadium, but he ended up canceling due to COVID. Unfortunately, and that would have been my first ever concert, just because I've actually never been to a concert, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I tried to go to my all-time favorite artist is Chris Daughtry, and
Okay.
I've always loved him, and he'll always be my top favorite artist. But I tried to go to that last year, but then that got canceled due to COVID too. So I've never been to a concert yet, and I'm 24, but I'm hoping to plan on getting to one soon.
Man, yeah, get to a concert, because there's nothing that compares to live music. I've seen my fair share of concerts over the years, and some pretty darn good ones, I gotta say. Nickelback puts on quite a show.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I saw Guns N' Roses too. That was pretty
Ooh,
cool.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
I do love some Guns N' Roses, honestly.
me too.
I was just listening to them on the way home from work today.
Right? And then I actually had the opportunity to go see Garth Brooks in
Oh.
2018.
Mhm.
Uh, I said no. I didn't go. I don't know why. This is before I got, and like I'm judging myself in my head, and like I feel like an idiot. But like this is before I really, really got into country, and I was still in that silly state thinking that I didn't like country music. But when you think of Garth Brooks, I've done a lot of research ever since that time and videos and listened to his tunes and everything. You don't even have to be a country fan to enjoy his show because he's
Exactly.
just going to make everybody included and have so much fun. So yeah, I missed out on that one,
Mm.
but maybe one day.
No,
That'd be a great show to see.
no, exactly. And that's what I say. I mean, I say one day, hopefully I'll get to a concert and stuff like that. So kind of getting into the third question, we've kind of been talking about songwriting and stuff like that, and just like the storytelling aspect of songwriting and just songs in general that are so cool that are always what am I trying to say is how the creative process comes around when people are writing songs and just the production wise and stuff. So I know you do have a couple of songs out and you do a lot of covers and stuff like that, and you post a lot about originals. But when it comes down to the originals, obviously Bad Night to Be a Beer, that's a jam. I love that. And for people that don't know that, you got to go check that out because that's such a cool song that Brayden wrote and has out everywhere. But what is your creative process like when it comes to writing a song and just like getting everything together? What's that all like for you?
Yeah, well, thank you. First of all, I'm glad you like that tune a lot. It's funny, like it'll be different every time. Like that Bad Night to Be a Beer, it came to me so quickly,
Mhm.
scarily quickly. Like I was at work, slacking off, and I sat there and I wrote it in 15 minutes. Like no guitar or anything. I just kind of had a melody in my head and I wrote it out on my phone. Then as soon as I got home, I cut the demo in like 2 hours because I knew exactly how I wanted the arrangement to sound. And if you compare the original demo from July 2020 to the actual release in July of 2021, there's not a whole lot different. Like it stayed very, very similar. And I'm really proud of that tune. And then there's other times that like I'll have a chord progression on my guitar and I'll just start freestyling lyrics until something feels right, or freestyling a melody. And like I always feel like it's better to sing a crappy lyric than not sing any lyric at all, or always write something down instead of not writing anything at all, because then even if it's not good, you at least accomplish something. So there's also another process that I've done quite a few times that I'll choose a topic that I want to write about, and I wouldn't call it an essay, except I'll just write as much information down on that topic as I possibly can. And I'll have 3, 4 pages of information on that topic that I want to write about. And then I'll go through with a highlighter and highlight things that I think could be lines.
Mhm.
And there's been 3 or 4 times that I've come out with a full song like right after that. And then the music comes easy. Like you kind of have a feeling once you have a theme or a mood for the song, you kind of have an idea of what kind of song it should be. Like for me, at least, like if it's a sad breakup song or something like that, I'm like, okay, this is probably like a slower, medium paced ballad in a minor key or something like that, and just kind of go off those moods. But to sum it up, in terms of songwriting process, I'd say it's different every time, and I'm still learning my process.
No, and that's awesome, man. I mean, it's going to take time. It takes a lot of time for different artists. Like I've interviewed over 30 different artists and some of them have down what works for them and some of them are still trying to figure it out and they've been doing music for years and stuff. So it's just always cool to ask that question to see what people's creative process is like. And I definitely connect a lot with how you wrote Bad Night to Be a Beer, is because the first ever song that I wrote, that a lot of people know, is Back to When. And I wrote that about losing my grandfather and stuff. And I wrote that within 2 hours. Like, and I already had the whole idea down, and I already had the melody in my head and stuff like that. And it just all came to me, and I worked out the lyrics. I sent them over to my best friend, Nathan Vasquez. Shout out to him. And it just all came together. And it's cool how the mind works like that, and just how music can flow like that for you, especially when you're in your emotions. And for me, it's an outlet and stuff like that. um and to quote another artist that I've had on the Spotlight series is Garrett Walker. He said it perfectly, is the creative process is like putting a puzzle together. You have all the pieces laying in front of you, but you just got to figure out how they all fit together and what works. And then by the end, you have this full length song, and you have this masterpiece in front of you after you do the whole puzzle. So I always find that quote great from him, and I always love quoting that, because it's super cool to hear everyone's creative process.
Oh yeah, and couldn't agree more. That puzzle reference is that's pretty spot on.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's cool to hear everything. And now getting into the next question, it's always my favorite question. Gonna jump right into it. People always freeze up on this question, and that's my favorite part of the interview, is hearing this question. And some people don't know who they are, and I get that. And like, you might still be trying to figure out who you are, or you might know who you are, what you want to do. But in all these genres, doesn't matter if it's country, rap, pop, jazz, R&B, like, it doesn't matter. But there's hundreds and thousands of artists in all these genres, up and coming and trying to make it out there. And especially with TikTok coming through last year, and a lot of people promoting their content through that, and just with all these up and coming artists and stuff like that, what would you say at the end of the day makes you you? Like, what makes Brayden King Brayden King?
Well, first of all, if you're ever to come see me in person, at a show setting or something like that, most people are shocked by the height. I'm 6'9", and of course that's not a musical thing, but in terms of just like physical stature, people are always thrown off by that. And I can't go a day in public without getting asked about 6 times how tall I am. I've been touring over the last 6 months as a solo artist. I haven't played, aside from a couple shows with Dead Levy where they backed me up as my support band. Aside from that, I played every show solo. And on a lot of the bills that I was playing, I had to perform alongside high energy bands.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, how do I, as a solo artist, match the energy of a high energy band? So when I'm playing solo, which isn't going to be all the time, I'm still in the works of having a band back me up at some of the shows. But even when I am solo, the last thing you're going to see me doing on stage is standing still. As soon as I'm backed away from the mic or anything, I'm always jumping around. I'm running around because I am having the time of my life on stage. And I take inspiration from people like Garth Brooks, Elvis, Mick Jagger, all the great frontmen of history.
Yeah.
They were engaging because they didn't stop moving. They didn't stop entertaining. And that's what I really like to do. So not only am I a musician, but I love to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
And then what makes me different? Musically, I think I think it's a process for lots of artists to narrow down. When people ask, what's your genre?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a tough thing to narrow down.
Yep.
I have some country influence, I have some rock influence, blues. And what makes me different? I think I'm still trying to figure all that out.
Yeah.
But I'm figuring it out as I go along with everything, and I'm just having fun while I do it. So it's all a process. And I think my biggest thing is I just try to get 1% better every day. I want to be better today than I was yesterday. And whether that's writing a new part of a song or making a new post or just being consistent and trying to make it happen,
No, exactly. And honestly, you couldn't have said any of that any better. Like I never give people any grief because like you sometimes it's a hard question and I get that. And that's why I love asking it because some people at the end of the day still don't know who they are. I mean, you're only 21. I mean, I'm only 24. Like we're still young. Like we're still trying to figure out our life and we're still trying to figure out everything. But another great thing that you said is you're having fun with it. You're enjoying, you want to give that to the people. You want the people to feed off of your energy and the entertainment aspect of your performances when you do that. And I dig that a lot because when I'm writing my music or if I'm producing and even my interview series, I'm just out here to have fun with it right now because it's part-time for me and I have my full-time job. But right now it's just I'm having fun. I enjoy it. And I think that's the part that matters most to me is having fun. And because at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, fame is all good and all that stuff, but I'd rather be doing this to help other people get exposure and to get myself more exposure and just having fun with it is just a big, big thing for me. So I'm happy that you said that.
Yeah, oh, for sure. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right.
Exactly. So kind of finishing things up here before we hear a quick live performance from you is what are your goals as an artist? Like what else can we expect down the road from you and just where do you want to go with your music?
Man, I'm doing it full time right now, and it's a lot of fun. I'm taking a couple classes at university, but overall, I'm full time music and really focused. So uh, you'll be seeing lots, and I'm not really announcing any. Well, actually, I can. This is getting announced today as a kind of a surprise release. There's an acoustic version of Bad Nights Be a Beer that'll be coming out on all platforms this Friday. So in 2 days, that'll be coming out. So really stoked about that. And following that, I have over the next 6 months quite a extensive release plan, and I'm super excited about that.
Mhm.
And then there's lots of shows that I'm touring pretty consistently, especially on the weekends,
Mhm.
playing shows all over central Alberta and Saskatchewan. And I've got plans to extend out to lots more of Canada in the next 6 months as well. So got lots of shows, and then come summertime, we're hitting the festivals and playing anywhere that they'll let me play. That's where I'm playing. So yeah, just along for the ride and having a blast doing it, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. And like I dig a lot of your content that you have and I'm a big fan of yours and I just can't wait to hear more music down the road. I can't wait to hear the acoustic version of Bad Night to Be a Beer and I just can't wait for more and more new music from you because you're definitely killing it and I'm excited for you.
Dude, thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. Thank you.
No, of course. So that's all the questions I have. Getting into my favorite part of the interview is always hearing some music, whether it's playing a little bit from Spotify, something that you have out, or hearing a live performance from an artist. And if you don't mind giving us a little live performance here, I'll let you kind of take the floor. What you're gonna do, you can tell everyone what's going on, and the floor is yours, man.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I'm gonna play a new one that's gonna be coming out eventually. In these next couple months, you'll be hearing lots about this song. So I'm just gonna play like the first verse and chorus just to give you a little taste of it. Basically, I wrote this song when I just come back from Belgium, and it's about a man that I met when I was living in Belgium. It's kind of a bluesy song. I hope you like it. It's called Down That Road. It's been a late night on the top bar, stumbled out the door, but think I drank too much. And I hear a song calling out on me with strings singing together like a symphony. Yeah, ooh yeah, like a symphony. Ooh. Then I see him there with a crooked smile, look like he was standing there for quite a while. And I say, hey man, can I sing with you? Said, boy, yes you can. And then he played the tune, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Then he played the tune. Ooh. Out on my own,
leg full of nothing and a spirit in my bones. Don't know where I'll go, but the player on the corner told me head on down that road. Told me head on down that road. Said this path is yours to take. You can live it if you want to. Said this path is yours to take. You can live it if you want to. Yeah.
Awesome job, man. Like
Thank you.
there's not enough I can say. Is over the last couple of interviews specifically that I've done, I always tell people is like it takes a lot for me to get chills from performances and stuff like that. And I just recently did an interview with Maggie B, shout out to her, and just like her vocals are amazing and your vocals are killer too, dude. And like I got chills from that. Just your songwriting, your vocals, just the artistry, everything about you is just so cool. And like I cannot wait for that to come out. Like I wish that was coming out like tonight, tomorrow. Like I wish I could order that thing right now. Like that was such a vibe, and I just that you're killing it.
Dude, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really excited about that song, and there's lots more in the works. So I'm glad you're looking forward to it because I am so excited.
No, awesome, dude. So kind of wrapping things up here is where can we kind of find you on social media? Is like what are you big on right now? Obviously all the streaming platforms that you're on, just where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so all streaming platforms is Brayden King, Brayden King. And then Instagram and TikTok are probably my two main socials. Those are both Brayden King Music. And I'm also on Facebook and YouTube under the same name. So yeah, whatever your preferred streaming platform is, go check it out. I've got 2 singles released with a bunch more on the way. And then yeah, whatever your favorite social platform is, feel free to check it out.
Awesome. I definitely recommend that people go check him out. He is such a talented artist, and he has a lot of cool things coming, as you guys just heard from that performance. Brayden, again, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and I look forward to everyone seeing this interview and just hearing your story through music, man.
Dude, thank you so much for getting in contact. This was a blast. I'm really glad I got to chat with you.
No problem. So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes another episode of the Spotlight series. Y'all know the drill by now. We're almost at 30 episodes. Every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, you can catch a new artist, and I will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.